Hello everyone, welcome back to the couch. Oh my gosh, it has been a minute, y'all. It has been, oh my gosh, 3 weeks at least since I have even published anything, and it's been longer than that since I pushed out a video. So, oh my goodness, we have lots to catch up on. And hopefully I'll get my butt back in gear, and we will be rocking with videos again on Monday, since a while ago I promised you all I would be pushing out content on Mondays. So I just dropped a really long blog post on conversationswithkelsey.com. So if you're a reader, I recommend you checking that out. If that's your style, I have a lot of pictures included from the last 2 weeks of my life when I was up in Wisconsin visiting family again. So where I have been, I am back from my hiatus, as I've been calling it. So I left 2 weeks ago actually it'll be 2 weeks ago. Oh my gosh, has it been 3 weeks? 2 weeks? I don't even remember. I left July 15th, the Wednesday morning. I got on the interstate about 7 o'clock in the morning and made my way up to Wisconsin. That is, July 15th is my best friend's birthday. So I had coordinated with her mom, like getting into her garage. They were gonna take her out to dinner, and I had coordinated sneaking up there and surprising her for her birthday. I had been telling her that I didn't plan to leave till like Thursday, and I just had some other stuff going on. I had went ghost mode, so she couldn't see my location anywhere, and I snuck up. I wished her happy birthday that morning. We didn't talk a whole lot throughout the day. I rolled back into town. I actually got to my other girlfriend's house where I was staying at about 4:30. So I made really good time. I went 4.5 hours. I filled up down here in Kentucky, and I made it 4.5 hours, almost 5, before stopping to get gas, and I went to the bathroom, and then I didn't fill up until the next day when I was back in Wisconsin. So I hauled butt. Traffic was really decent. It was a really good drive up there. So I rolled in about 4:30, and I had bought this pack of balloons, really big balloons, that said happy birthday, and a bunch of like streamers and stuff like that I had ordered. And I opened up the pack when I got there, and all the balloons needed a valve. Oh my god, I panicked. So thankfully my dad had a pump, so I hauled butt to his house because I knew she was out to dinner with her parents and I needed to get set up before she got home. So hauled butt to my dad's, got everything blown up, ran to her house, and I hung everything up. These literally huge balloons, I'll share pictures, big balloons that said happy birthday, and I hung up little balloons and the streamers, and I was just sitting there waiting. I was so excited, like had my phone out ready to record her walking into the house so I could yell surprise. I had it down perfect until I went through the front door because I didn't want to wreck the streamer on the garage. So I snuck through the front door and I went and hid my car down the street. And I was sitting at the counter eating a cake, ice cream, whatever the hell I was eating. And all of a sudden I was like, dang it, she has like those doorbell cameras. And literally at the same time, which cracks me up because we are always thinking the same thing at the same freaking time, she texts me and then calls me and is like laughing, saying, what are you doing? I'm like, damn it, like I'm trying to surprise you. So I'm terrible with surprises. They're so hard to pull off, but it was still the concept of I at least got to be there for her birthday. But yeah, the surprise itself didn't work out very well, but it was funny. So we ended up going out that night to celebrate her birthday, and we celebrated the rest of the week and all weekend for her because I love birthdays. They are, as I've talked about with my 30th birthday, I am all about birthdays, and it doesn't have to be mine. It's anyone. I love to make people feel special and go all out for their birthday. So that is what I had planned, was all sorts of different activities for us. So Thursday, you guys, this trip back home, I crammed so much into this week and a half, 2 weeks back, just trying to see every grandma, grandparent, parent, friend, whoever I possibly could see. And so I was running all over the place. I got up the next morning and went and had coffee, and then stopped off to grandma's, and then went back home, and I was just chilling. It is exhausting. It takes a lot out of you to constantly run around and say hi to people, I learned very quickly. So that led us into Friday. So my best friend, she took the Friday and Monday off of her birthday weekend. We went to a rooftop in Hudson, Wisconsin. If you've never been to Mallory's, I highly, highly recommend Mallory's. It is one of my favorite rooftops that overlooks the St. Croix River, and they just have amazing food, really good drinks. So we had a drink and some lunch, and ended up going back and just being lazy the rest of the day. Went out and rode around on the golf cart that night. It was, you guys, the weather in Wisconsin when I got up there was perfect. It made me not want to come back for a few days, because it was 75, no humidity, the windows were open, the air wasn't running. That has not been a thing in Kentucky, let me tell you, until like recently. Right now, as I'm recording this, yesterday it pretty much, well, 2 days ago it rained like all day, and it was super cold. Like, it was actually like I had goosebumps outside because it was 70 degrees out. So for it to get down into like the 60s, the 50s at night for a few days was heavenly back home. So that was, like I said, went out golfing. And then the big party that I had been planning was my first Saturday back up there on the 18th. I decided a couple months ago that all of us girls, we were supposed to go to New Orleans back in May, beginning of May, to celebrate our 30th birthdays. 6 of us, I believe, had planned this trip, and as we know, the world shut down and everything went to hell in March. So New Orleans is, of course, a cesspool for COVID, and our trip was canceled. So it's now that things are a little bit more open, I decided to plan a birthday party for us girls that didn't get a chance to celebrate, and that went really well. Saturday, I got sandwiches and potato salad, chips, just kind of a nice light meal, some water. I invited the girls and their parents, whoever wanted to show up, just to have a good time. We were outside at a park, and it went awesome. I was so happy to see everyone that showed up, and it was the hottest day of the year, I'm pretty sure. Of course, it was like a heat index of like 100 plus that Saturday. Thankfully, we met around 6 o'clock, so it was starting to cool off, and thank God a pretty nasty storm was actually coming through, so a breeze picked up, and it was somewhat tolerable anyway. But I just want to say thank you to everyone that came out, and it was so great to see all of you and actually get to enjoy our birthdays. We ended up walking across the street afterwards. There was a band playing, and let me tell you, I have been missing the hell out of live music. I don't even, it's to the point where you're like a caged animal, and you are so pent up, and I was so happy that they were actually doing something at the bar. It was awesome. The only downfall was, like I said, it was 900 degrees outside, but we didn't care. Us girls, we went out to the shed, and we danced the freaking night away, all of us. We were dripping. I at least brought a bandana to catch my sweat, but oh my God, my one girlfriend, every time I looked at her, her hairline was soaked. The other one, the sweat was dripping in her eyes. Back of her hair was soaked. it was pouring outside, and it looked like we had stepped outside and come back in. I have never sweat like that in my entire life. Like, I don't even think I probably sweat that much throwing hay bales when I was a kid. Oh my God, the next day, like, I pulled money out of my pocket and it was soaked still. Oh God, it was one hell of a workout. And it was one of those things where we didn't even care. We were just dancing our asses off because it was finally something to do that was fun. So at like 11:30 we started. We started at 6. By 11:30 it was still early, but I tapped out. I was dying for a cold shower. So we got out of there, and everybody else kind of still continued to party and dance and have a good time, which was awesome. It was exactly what I wanted, exactly what we've been planning since the beginning of the year when we all turned 30 and really wanted to have a lot of fun. So that went really well. Sunday we rolled right into Sunday Fun Day. About 10 o'clock that next morning we were up and at 'em. That is one thing that doesn't exist down in Kentucky is Sunday Fun Day. That is definitely a Wisconsin thing where you get up at 9 in the morning and you go have breakfast in a bloody or a screwdriver, mimosa, whatever it is. You have a bar to go to at 9 a.m. and in Kentucky that doesn't exist. You have somewhere to go get breakfast, but there's no alcohol served with it. So that was something I was really looking forward to, and we did that. We got up and we got our French toast and bacon from one of our favorite bars. And then again, another thing that happens in Wisconsin, meat raffles. That is something I've learned that other people don't understand. So for those of you who are watching this from outside of Wisconsin where I'm at, a meat raffle consists of buying a paddle. The one meat raffle that I go to, it's $10 and you are in for the entire length of the meat raffle. You get a paddle with a number on it. They spin the wheel, and if it lands on your number, then you win that pack of meat. And these are really nice packs of meat. You get stuffed chicken breasts, bacon wrapped chicken, pork chops, T-bones, sirloins. You get brats. There's just a lot. It's good quality meat from the local locker. So that is something that everybody does on Sunday. Go to a meat raffle after breakfast or brunch. So that was what we did. And I proceeded to tie one on. You guys, I have not been out since March, February. I have not. I went out for a few drinks before I moved down to Kentucky, and otherwise it has been a while. I have been pretty tamed. Obviously we went out for my 30th birthday, but in terms of like going crazy and just getting annihilated, basically, I don't always do that anymore, but we had a hell of a day. There was a band that played, we had the meat raffle. We had the meat raffle. We rode side by side. Oh my God, we just had the best day. I felt like hell. I literally died. I died on Monday. Died and came back to life. But, when you're young, you got to do those things sometimes. So thank you, Wisconsin. You have my liver. You have taken it and ruined it multiple times, and that is just where I think I buried it that day. Yeah, I'm good for a few more months now. But yeah, Sunday Fun Day. That's something we would love to do down here in Kentucky. We always talk about opening up the garage, playing beanbags, music, just getting the bloodies and the vodka and everything going, because it's fun. It's a fun thing to do during the day. But yeah, so that was our Sunday. And Monday, after I was done dying, we went out kayaking. The birthday girl wanted to do that on her day off, so we rented some kayaks at Glen Hills and just sat on the lake, kind of floated around and just enjoyed the afternoon. We were honestly really fortunate where we live, and I think sometimes we forget how great Glen Hills is for a county park, and the lake is actually really, really nice. It's interesting to see how cold the lake water is in Wisconsin compared to down here. The water is it's like bath water. I have been to Buchanan Resort on Kentucky Lake. I went to Pennyrile Lake, which is separate between Kentucky Lake and Lake Barkley. And then I went to the very top of Kentucky Lake to the Dam Beach area. And no matter where you go, the water is literally bath water. It is so warm. It's around 80 to 90 degrees in between there, and it's just, it puts you to sleep because it's so soothing. So I've heard though that because it's so warm, it isn't the best for fishing, where thankfully in Wisconsin, you know, we have hot days, but the water still stays pretty cold, which is ideal for, I guess, better fishing. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, so I don't think I've actually talked about the different parts of Kentucky Lake I've been to, honestly, since one of my last videos. So those are some places that I really recommend for anyone traveling. I highly, highly recommend checking out Pennyrile State Park. It is, if you're coming down to Kentucky, hit up Pennyrile in West Kentucky. It is breathtakingly gorgeous. It is, like I said, a state park, so it's got an 18-hole golf course. It's got different lodges, a private pool. It is amazing. You can camp, whatever. So that's a little sidebar, Pennyrile. So anyway, that brought into my last full week back up in Wisconsin. Again, I had it cram-packed. Monday night, I had dinner with a girlfriend. Tuesday night, I met up with my old coworkers. We had, I believe, 7 of us out of 7 out of 10, which I thought was pretty damn good. So we sat for like 3 hours and chatted. It was awesome to see everyone. It is kind of like I never left, so that was really nice. And Wednesday, I spent the entire day on the golf course, literally 10:30 till like 5 o'clock, out golfing, got in 18 holes. It was 60 freaking degrees, 60 in Wisconsin. I was wearing a sweatshirt for the first time in like 3 months. Incredible. It was so great. So got in my probably last 18 holes up there, and just had a blast out on the course. I laughed. Oh my God, we laughed harder than I think I've laughed in a really long time. It was just a really good day. And Thursday ended up being, I think, a pretty low-key day. I had some lunch. And then Friday was another day that was super low-key. I ended up going to my grandparents, had supper, good old corn on the cob. Did a little bit of running and just kind of prepped for the weekend. I ended up getting Saturday morning, I had to prep a lot of food for a baby shower. So I prepped food, I went and had coffee, and then, I spent 3.5 hours at a tattoo shop where I've gotten 90% of my tattoos. I love Crimson Heart Tattoo Studio out of Turtle Lake in Wisconsin. If you are ever in the area, if you're ever looking for just incredible artists, I definitely recommend Crimson Heart. I spent, like I said, 3 hours there on Saturday afternoon getting a cover-up. I had gotten a tattoo when I was 20. The owner of the shop tattooed Live, Laugh, Love on my hip. And don't get me wrong, I love the simplicity of Live, Laugh, Love. It's great for wall decor, but in terms of a tattoo, I was over it, and I've been wanting lilies for a really long time. Being born in May, lilies are the flower of the month of May, and I have always had them around my house, grown Asiatic lilies, so I decided to cover that up on my hip, and I'm hoping to kind of extend it down my thigh as time goes by. But I ended up getting a starlet lily tattooed on me, which ironically, I never told the tattoo artist this, but she came up with the lily because it's a darker lily, starlets are, and we needed really dark colors to be able to cover up the black ink of my tattoo. It was tricky because it was still pretty prominent coloring. So we ended up with the darker colors of the Starlet, and I actually went back in my phone and my pictures back to 2014. I was searching for lilies to plant around the house for some landscaping, and I ran across these bulbs, and I was just mesmerized by how gorgeous these lilies were. And I showed her that picture, and I was just like, how freaking perfect is this? That it's just kind of come full circle without even really communicating about it. So it turned out awesome. It's a lot darker tattoo than I was kind of expecting, but again, you're covering up black ink, so you take what you can get. It honestly went really well. The first half of it was a breeze, and then we got into a lot of the coloring, and holy balls, toward the end I was freaking spent. It was raw. So that was an experience in itself, that's for dang sure. I might not do any more cover-ups. Like, there's a point in getting tattoos that you want forever. So but no, she did an amazing job. Shout out to Mariah at Crimson Heart, thank you. So I did that on Saturday, and unfortunately I wasn't anticipating that to get done Saturday. I had an appointment scheduled earlier in the week, and some things came up, so I had to go from that to my cousin's high school graduation party, but it worked out really well, and I got a chance to see all my aunts and uncles, cousins, grandparents, family I haven't seen in a really long time. My dad and stepmom were all there, so excuse me. It ended up being a really nice day to just kind of quick see everyone and say goodbye before, you know, I hit the road. So that was Saturday, and I ended up leaving there and getting home because I had to finish prepping for the baby shower. That was Sunday morning, and that was how I wrapped up my time in Wisconsin, was Sunday morning. We had my best friend. I've known her since I was 5 years old, so it was just a special day to be a part of, and I was honored to be helping hosting. We met when my parents moved right next door back in, like I said, when we were 5 years old, and she was not only my first neighbor, but my first best friend, and we have just grown up together, and now seeing her married and starting a family, and it was a perfect day. Everybody showed up except for like two of the girls that couldn't make it. Otherwise, we had an amazing turnout. The decorations were perfect. The food was perfect. It was just an all-around perfect day, and I'm so excited that we were able to do the shower when we did. It was a little earlier, I think, than wanted, but I was glad that she had it while I was still visiting, and I didn't miss it. So baby will be here in November. I am so excited, and I have another girlfriend with a baby due in December, and then another with a baby due sometime after the new year, I think like February, March-ish area, something like that. So a lot of exciting things to be super thankful for coming up here in the new year. So that wrapped up my week and a half, almost 2 weeks back in Wisconsin. By this time I really wanted my bed. I wanted my routine, to see the boys, see the family again. So after the shower, I actually packed up and hit the road about 2:30 that afternoon, and I have made a lot of trips down south. I have gone to Madison a ton of times. I have gone down to Nashville a few times, been down to Lynchburg, and then obviously back and forth to Kentucky. I typically can make it from home in Wisconsin down to the border to Illinois in about 3.5 hours. And I typically drive over the speed limit, trying to do the flow of traffic, so probably faster than the average person, but I can usually make it 3.5 hours. And anybody that knows the Wisconsin Dells knows that it is a big tourist area. And oh man, it was awful. normally you hit, like, I get it's Sunday and it not the best time to be traveling, but we hit dead stop. Like, I was actually stopped on the interstate, not going anywhere, and I figured it was just like vacation. Maybe there's an accident because of that, you know, people leaving for the weekend. Nothing. I passed no construction, no accidents. I drove under 60 miles an hour for 2 hours. It was the worst trip of my entire life. I finally got to, so I left at 2:30. I finally got to the Illinois border at like 7 o'clock, I want to say. 7 o'clock. I think I passed the tolls, got through Rockford at about 7 o'clock, and I didn't think I was going to make it. I was prepared to just pull over and stay in Madison, somewhere around there, because I was just, my nerves were shot. Like, constant stop, go. You're not going anywhere. And what ended up happening was there was a massive storm cell, literally the entire width of southern Wisconsin, and I hit all of it. And because of the rain, people were driving so slow. So you guys, Illinois is a miserable state. I'm sorry for anyone that lives in Illinois, but to get from one end of Illinois to the next is about 6 hours. And I literally hit every inch of that on the way up to Western Kentucky. So 6 hours. The majority of my traveling is Illinois, and it's nothing. You have a city or a town every few hundreds of miles. If you have to pee or get gas, you better plan it accordingly, and it's just windmills, and there's really nothing to look at. So it's not bad driving at night. Honestly, it's ideal. So I was so happy to be in Illinois for the very first time ever, because once I got to Illinois, it just, the rain stopped. It was clear skies. It was wide open, no traffic, smooth sailing. So I was able to hammer down and make up for some lost time. I pulled into my driveway at about 1:15 in the morning, Monday morning, and I left all my crap, all my suitcases, everything in the car. I piled in the house, cranked down the air, and passed out, and I was just really happy to be here. And I definitely have a new appreciation for Kentucky and being down here. Going back to Wisconsin is wonderful to see everyone, but it's one of those things where it is really funny that you make a home wherever you are. You know, I think about Joe Dirt when he says home is where you make it, and it's just, oh my God, it cracks me up because that is so true. I definitely feel more at peace being in West Kentucky. So I will say, to this state down here, I really enjoy it. I definitely feel at home, and it's nice to be back in a routine again, back around my mom and stepdad and sister, and around my boys. It was a really good time away to see everyone, but I'm definitely happy. I've realized that it's all about your attitude, and you can choose to really make a home and love where you are if you want to. So I'm here for it. West Kentucky, I am here. I am enjoying it, and I am really starting to appreciate everything around here to do and the people as well. So that's kind of been a wrap up of what's been going on. I know this has been a much longer video than normal. I've taken up a whopping like half hour of your guys' time today, but like I said, it's probably been a good month that I need to get caught up on everything. So thank you guys for tuning in and hanging with me. If you have any questions about, like I said, the places I went to, the lakes I went to, any places back in Wisconsin that you're interested in, if you're traveling that way, don't hesitate to hit me up. So thanks everyone for tuning in to Conversations with Kelsey. I will check in with you later.